This is unreal.
The weather, an uncontrollable force, giving us life and taking it away. As our planet heats up, the weather is getting more extreme.
Guys, we've got cars floating again.
More terrifying.
Avalanche!
And even more catastrophic.
If you're the praying type, please just pray for us, because this is really scary.
With incredible self-shot footage.
I thought Titanic came into my head.
From the front line of fear.
The biggest challenge we have is going against Mother Nature.
It's an extremely challenging environment.
We witness firsthand.
What I was feeling was burning from inside out.
The wrath of Mother Nature.
I was saying everything's going to be okay, even though in my head I knew that was a lie.
I'm getting out of here.
It's like your brain doesn't understand what you're seeing.
From twisted tales of terror.
I don't want to die in my store.
Death was right around the corner.
Earth-shattering natural disasters.
It's an earthquake.
You're dicing with danger. If you're in their way, you die.
And stories of sheer destruction.
Oh my God!
It's all gone.
It looks like World War II.
We meet the people who've stared death in the face.
We're not going to get out of this alive.
And survived the full force of the world's deadliest weather.
Really kicking our ass.
Coming up in this episode, savage wildfires sweep across Southern California.
When you see the fire coming, it's almost like a blowtorch.
Please, dear God, let me get out of this. Please, please.
As the LA Fire Department battle to rescue residents trapped by ferocious flames.
Desperate times call for desperate measures.
Yeah, this isn't looking good.
A terrifying twister rips apart a gas station in Joplin, Missouri.
It's happening. I'm dying in a tornado.
And in Antarctica, a couple attempting to set a new record brave the most extreme elements on Earth.
The main risk is death.
Wildfires, a deadly and unpredictable force of nature. They spread at terrifying speeds and pose a serious risk to life. One area particularly prone to these deadly infernos is Southern California, where strong, warm Santa Ana winds can fuel ferocious flames. It's November 2018, and pilot Joel Smith from the Los Angeles Fire Department is on high alert.
We had hot and dry conditions. We have our local Santa Ana north winds. Everything lined up perfectly for a disastrous fire.
When reports come in of a wildfire in Woolsey Canyon, just north of Malibu, Joel and fellow pilot Dave Norquist are deployed to drop water on the flames.
Upon getting on scene and seeing the scale of the fire and how fast it was moving, we knew that we were going to have a battle ahead of us.
Fanned by 60 miles per hour winds, the flames quickly spread south towards Malibu, forcing the evacuation of thousands of residents. Megan Weddle is one of those fleeing the flames.
It was 7:30 in the morning, and when I left my house, it was smoky and it was scary. All of a sudden it got dark, so it was completely disorientating.
Oh my God.
I immediately saw houses on fire, and it was like a whirlwind of smoke and fire and heat.
It's starting to burn all around me.
And it was hard to breathe. So it was really scary, and it just, primally, you're like, get out, go, go. getting me emotional. It was really terrifying.
Oh my God, I'm surrounded by fire. I'm surrounded by fire right now. I don't know what to do.
Across town, a group of volunteer firefighters take to the streets to try to save their neighborhood from the fire. Among them, Justin Homsey and his partner, Danielle Peters.
The flames were already surrounding my community and were getting ready to engulf the areas around my apartment complex. And so we started roaming around town and just started helping as we saw fires coming up behind people's homes.
Our mission really from entering a fire is just to help in any way we can.
Meanwhile, Megan is driving deeper into the disaster.
Oh my God, I don't know what to do.
I looked both ways and both ways were on fire. And I had to make a decision, which way do you think you're more likely to get out?
Oh my God, I'm surrounded by fire and I don't know which way to go.
So I went left because everything looked to me that it was on fire to the right.
Oh my God.
In the air, pilots Joel and Dave are dropping water on the flames when they receive an emergency call about a group of residents trapped on top of Castro Peak in the nearby Santa Monica Mountains.
Yeah, we've received a request for a possible burnover on Castro Peak.
They immediately respond, despite being ill-equipped for the mission.
It was just me and Joel in the front and no rescue equipment or rescue personnel in the back. I thought to myself, this isn't really technically something we've trained for, but we have. We're firefighters. We're used to going into a chaotic situation. We realized this was going to have to be done pretty quickly. Desperate times call for desperate measures.
Those guys are in a bad area. They need to get out quick.
Down on the ground, firefighting volunteers Justin and Danielle are using their training to tackle the blaze head-on.
We carry chainsaws, we carry tools to not extinguish the fire, but to stop it from burning more structures.
Their team worked tirelessly to clear combustible vegetation.
Get this branch out of the way.
But the fire is proving impossible to contain.
When you see the fire coming, it's almost like a blowtorch. It tends to almost slant and burn across things, and it can jump from one hillside to the next within a matter of a second.
As pilots Joel and Dave approach Castro Peak, they struggle to navigate their way through the high winds and thick smoke.
Conditions were terrible. It was really windy. The flame lengths, my estimation, were up to 100 feet above the ridgeline as they were shooting up the mountain.
All right, this is rapidly becoming very ugly.
Yeah, it is.
And with no rescue hoist on board, the only way to save the stranded residents is to try and land the 50-foot helicopter.
Our first choice was to try and land in the parking lot because that gave us a 100% chance of getting to the people.
Put your tail rotor kind of in between where the tractor and that is.
But as we got closer to the ground, I could see that our rotors weren't going to clear the height of a tractor that was sitting right there.
I'm too close to these trucks now.
Yeah, this is going to be too tight, Dave.
Okay, I'm going to go straight up.
All right.
It's too tight. We had the wires and the poles and the vehicles in there. It just wasn't going to work.
The flames are closing in fast, so it's a race against time to find an alternative landing spot.
The dark smoke was getting thicker, and I was constantly aware of the fact that there was this ticking time bomb, which was the fire approaching. We had to get down, get the people on board, and get out.
Oh, man. Yeah, this isn't looking good.
Time is also running out for Monmouth 2 Megan.
Oh my God.
Alone and disorientated in the flames.
I noticed I was having trouble breathing. I was like breathing heavier.
Oh my God, please, dear God, don't let me die. Please, dear God, don't let me die.
I just kept going and I was asking God to help me. I'm like, please, God, let me get out. I have children, I want to live.
Please, dear God, let me get out of this. Please, please.
later, residents continue to flee as the wildfire wipes out multi-million-dollar properties in Malibu.
It doesn't matter if you are the richest person on Earth or you're living in a river bottom. You lose everything.
And pilots Dave and Joel attempt to land their helicopter on a dangerously narrow tree-lined ridge amid the smoke and flames.
The last thing we want to do is mess up the helicopter, and now we have 2 more victims stuck at the top of Castro Peak.
Can I move anywhere left?
You got like 3 feet.
All right, this is not going to be pretty.
May 2011.
You need to be taking caution at this hour because a tornado has touched down.
A terrifying tornado is sweeping across the city of Joplin, Missouri.
So we do have a confirmed tornado in the city of Joplin.
College student Isaac Duncan is driving with friends when he hears the warnings on the radio.
We looked over, the sky was getting very, very dark, and we thought, man, like, that's a lot closer than we thought it was. We knew that we needed to find a place to get out of the storm.
Joplin resident Hannah Marr is at her family home when she hears the sirens.
The tornado sirens have always been a part of our lives growing up. We were all in the living room, and I remember the TV was on, and then all of a sudden it was staticky.
Let's go, everybody.
We heard the tornado coming, and it sounds like a freight train.
Go, press up your feet, keep the move, guys. We're falling, this thing can carry us away. Let's go.
It's just like reality hit fast that we're in the path of destruction.
Across town, Isaac is desperately seeking shelter and spots a gas station.
You could tell that the storm was very close, and we quickly pulled up right in front of the front door of the gas station.
Hey, where do you want me to put everybody?
Already sheltering inside is Aaron Frost and his girlfriend, Allie.
We all huddled right by the drinks, and we all shuffled in as far as we could.
It's pretty crazy. This is getting real. Walked into the middle, and there were probably 20 people sitting on the floor in between the racks of chips and candy bars and stuff.
Everybody get down, low on the ground.
As the tornado starts to do some serious damage, the group dashes towards the safest part of the store, the beer fridge.
Everybody just started running as fast as they could to the cooler. It was in no way enough for 22 people to be in there, but everybody just piled in.
Well, when you're in a situation like that, you quickly forget the fact that you're strangers, just trying to make it safe out of this terrible situation that affected everyone.
And then we closed that cooler door and shut it and held on.
As Isaac, Aaron, and Allie cling on for dear life, Hannah huddles down in the basement of her family home.
I could hear glass shattering all over. I could hear the top part of our house like just breaking, crashing, wood splitting. I remember my ears popping. I think it was because of the pressure going overhead. It just all happened so fast.
The first part of the tornado hit. People started screaming, and it kept on getting louder and louder, just roaring wind. The floor was just covered in beer and broken glass.
The ceiling dropped from 8 to 3 feet, and we just held on.
I love everyone. I love everyone, man. Yeah, I love all you guys.
I did believe that I was going to die.
my mind went to, I never thought that I would actually die in a tornado, but it's happening. I'm dying in a tornado.
Tornadoes kill an average of 60 people per year in the US alone. So when you see one coming, it's worth finding shelter fast. But this man in Pennsylvania is refusing to flee, choosing to catch the chaos on camera. But a killer close-up can lead to a close call. And as the funnel starts flinging debris around, the courageous cameraman finally decides it's time to seek shelter. In Virginia, this man tracks a twister as it winds its way over a shopping complex. But though it might appear fairly distant, it accelerates with unexpected velocity. He wisely dives for cover. Just in the nick of time. As a tree is uprooted, and shrapnel descends upon the place he was stood just moments earlier.
Getting bigger, go.
In Texas, this driver is right to put his foot down, as a huge tornado looms ominously behind him. He keeps a safe distance from the twister, clearly mindful of the old adage that objects in the rearview mirror are closer than they may appear. Back in Joplin, a terrifying EF5 tornado is tearing across the city. College student Isaac and high school sweethearts Aaron and Ali are sheltering in the fridge of a gas station.
The sound of the wind, not only do you hear it, but you feel it. It sucks the pressure out of the room that you're in, just all around sensory overload. I felt like I was going to die.
I did have a moment where I thought in my head, I'm not gonna get to experience a marriage, a family, children, and I was afraid.
But as quickly as it started, the tornado passes.
Is everyone okay below me? Right here, I'm okay. All right, I'm trying not to lay on someone.
Somebody's on my back.
And as the skies clear, the group must figure out what to do next.
We're not moving anywhere. The building, the structure of the building may not be safe to move.
The walls had fallen over where they were, instead of straight up, it was like a 45-degree angle, and you could see the sunlight. We eventually decided we should climb out.
The tornado may have passed.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God!
But for Hannah, emerging from her basement, the damage to her family home is earth-shattering.
Walking up from the basement and everything had been destroyed.
Oh my God!
Just the whole top part of our house was gone. I kept thinking, this is not real. This is not my home. This didn't happen to me. It just seemed like this was a dream.
Oh my God.
The place that I know to be safe and secure has totally been destroyed. And it shook something within me, within my being.
Oh my God.
Across town, the group at the gas station venture out from inside the cooler.
We climbed out, and everything was just leveled. This would have been where we walked in. It didn't look like a gas station at all. That right there is where we climbed out.
It looked like the scene of like an apocalypse here, or like a zombie movie.
All right, so here is the inside. We made kind of like a beer wall to climb up.
Seeing all of that put it into perspective how lucky we were and how dead we should have been.
The tornado killed 158 people, and injured over 1,000 more. It was the deadliest tornado to hit the United States for over 60 years.
I think I met with death that day. Something that is totally out of your control can completely change your life.
If we hadn't have come across the gas station that we found, I think that things would have been a lot different.
And after surviving the tornado, Aaron and Ali's relationship went on to flourish.
I felt so protected by him during the tornado that I felt like I needed him with me every day, every second, every moment after that.
Still to come. It's a race against time for the California helicopter team rescuing residents from a raging wildfire.
We looked down at our fuel quantity and we were maybe 10 minutes from our drop dead point.
We're getting pretty close to our bingo fuel.
And a rare weather phenomenon destroys Dallas.
Oh my God, the crane is falling over. Oh my God.
Antarctica is the coldest continent on Earth, covered by a huge sheet of ice larger than the whole of Europe. Average temperatures here hover around minus 57 degrees Celsius, and wind gusts can reach an astonishing 200 miles per hour. Virtually nothing can survive in such extremes. But that doesn't deter wingsuit skydiver Heather Swan and her husband Glenn.
My dream was to go to Antarctica, to go and to fly a wingsuit.
The adventurous couple have been flying wingsuits together since 2004.
We've flown over the Grand Canyon, we've flown over Lake Eyre in Australia, and we've also flown over cities like Brisbane and Sydney and Melbourne.
It's November 2018, and Heather and Glenn are taking on their greatest challenge yet: to become the first people to wingsuit skydive over Antarctica. But it's a landscape so brutal that even minor errors could be fatal.
Well, the main risk is death.
Death and injury are risks of any extreme sport, so we spend a lot of time planning how not to get injured. You put on this suit, like a Superman suit, that has wings under the arms and between the legs.
The most deadly aspect of the challenge is battling the elements.
We have to be careful about wind. If it's a crosswind, that can be really disrupting to our flight pattern. So we have to understand where the wind is coming from, what the strength is.
I have lots of layers underneath here. 2 thermal layers, a windstopper layer, and then of course the suit. Basically, nothing is getting through here.
There are all these climatic extremes that you have to deal with. So we have to get our timing and our journey through the layers of weather. We have to get that exactly right.
I don't think we've ever been better prepared for a jump than this one.
I've got to say I've got a little bit of performance anxiety nerves.
And as they climb to 12,000 feet, Heather and Glenn begin to understand the enormity of what they're about to undertake.
There is something really surreally special about sitting in an open door and an aircraft flying above Antarctica and knowing that you're about to get out. There's that much wind blowing on you, it's just howling. We're trying to get our minds and our focus centered for what we're about to do, but also keep looking at the pilot, waiting for that thumbs up signal that, time to go.
The couple leap into the unknown.
Just stunning. As far as you can see, beautiful white peaks against the starkness of the blue sky.
But the sheer beauty of the landscape belies a horrifyingly hostile environment.
It's minus 54. If you imagine the wind chill, that's what we have to be protected against. any exposed flesh, and that temperature and that wind chill factor will snap freeze in a matter of seconds. There's always the risk of cold injury like hypothermia or frostbite or chilblains.
Heather and Glenn are straining every sinew as they combat the pressures of the extreme cold. But they aren't the only ones getting a rush from the natural wonder of some of the world's harshest climates. In Moscow, walking barefoot across snow might seem quite extreme. But that's nothing compared to what this Russian woman does next. Using a rope to harness herself, she takes to this ice-filled pool to do some swimming training. It's less freestyle, more freeze style. The landscape here in Iceland is living up to its name, as this kayaker plunges into a dangerously swirling ravine before taking on the 40-foot waterfall of the gods. He may well have had some suitably divine intervention to guide him through that one. In the USA, these excitable adventurers are heading out for a spot of ice fishing.
This is Red Lake, baby. This is walleye fishing. Wintertime. Upper Red, baby.
They're driving across the partially frozen Upper Red Lake in Minnesota, looking for the perfect place to snare their supper. Driving across ice is a tricky business, but it seems these guys have cracked the technique. With a bit of luck, that will be the only thing they crack. Back in Antarctica, husband and wife team Heather and Glenn are the first people ever to attempt to wingsuit skydive in the freezing, hostile environment.
The cold air above the polar plateau, it sinks under the influence of gravity. It's actually a howling gale of super cold air. We have to understand what all the currents of air are doing at all the different levels, and we plan our flight so that we can land exactly where we have to land. And that's critical in a place like Antarctica, because down there the landing area is very small.
But just as they approach the landing zone, Glenn is suddenly and brutally blindsided by a gust of freezing wind that sends him careering off course.
So you can be flying along and hit a bump in the air that you cannot see, but you can definitely feel.
He then desperately alerts Heather to the danger.
Don't turn! Don't turn!
So you've got to correct to stop yourself getting thrown into a loop or getting just thrown off course.
Eventually, Glenn manages to recover, and the couple continue their descent.
Hey!
Both making a safe, if bumpy, landing.
Just ecstasy. And in
a
your
moment
case,
of pure elation.
Yeah.
How was it?
I'm jumping up and down like, a 3-year-old at Christmas.
Despite the cruel conditions, the couple have succeeded in making wingsuiting history.
We were the very first people to fly a wingsuit skydive in Antarctica. You're very aware of the privilege of just how special that is.
We did it, babe.
Earlier, we saw how a deadly wildfire swept across the mountains of Southern California, raging towards the luxury homes of coastal Malibu.
Oh my God, I don't know what to do.
Mum of two Megan is desperately trying to escape the horrifying fire.
I'm like, please, God, let me get out. I have children. I want to live.
Please, dear God, let me get out of this. Please, please.
With flames in every direction, Megan has no choice but to drive deeper into the inferno.
There's telephone poles on fire, there's trees on fire, and the smell was, it just was charred. The smoke was very black and thick and surreal. Like, you're kind of like, this can't be real. This can't be real.
Oh my God, houses are burning all around me.
I thought I might die.
Oh my God, I just had something big on fire just hit my car.
It is primal. It's survival of the fittest. It's, I need to survive this. I need to get to where there's no more fire.
As Megan battles to stay alive, Los Angeles Fire Department pilots Dave and Joel race to rescue residents stranded on a mountain peak.
I'm too close to these trucks now.
Yeah, this is gonna be too tight, Dave.
Okay, I'm gonna go straight up.
All right.
But they don't have a rescue hoist. They can't find a safe place to land, and now they're running low on fuel.
Okay, and just so you know, just to add to it, we're getting pretty close to our bingo fuel.
We looked down at our fuel quantity, and we were maybe 10 minutes from our drop dead point.
It's crucial the pilots find somewhere to land, and fast.
I looked to my right and saw that there was a little patch of dirt surrounded by a bunch of bushes, and it looked relatively flat.
How about if we just land sort of here?
What about right there on the dirt?
That's what I'm thinking.
Okay, let's do that. I'm way more comfortable with that.
Yep.
Dave made a hasty approach right into the spot there. I opened up my door to check that our tail rotor's not going to get into a tree. That's the last thing we want to do is mess up the helicopter, and now we have 2 more victims stuck at the top of Castro Peak.
All right, this is not going to be pretty.
Pilot Dave draws on his years of experience to try and land on the dangerously narrow ledge.
Well, can I move anywhere left?
You got like 3 feet.
Obviously,
2,
I'm not going to go.
1. Keep coming down. You're kind of in the bushes, but we're good.
Then it's all down to firefighter pilot Joel.
I'm gonna keep the door open. I'm gonna go run out.
Okay.
All right. Godspeed.
Yes, sir.
Who disappears into the heat and smoke to locate the trapped residents.
Once Joel left the aircraft and left my field of vision, I had no idea what was going on.
13 miles south, and mum of 2 Megan is in dire need of a miracle.
Everything is on fire around me. Everything.
I was thinking, I have 2 daughters, and I'm their mom, and they only have 1 mom. And I can't let this fire win.
Oh my God.
I start to realize that I'm out racing it, like I'm getting ahead of it. And so it starts to clear.
Looks like it's clearing.
Miraculously, Megan makes it out.
I just drove through fire. Oh my God.
But back in the mountain, there's still no sign of Joel.
Seems almost like an eternity, but then all of a sudden, I see him popping from around the bush. And he's got not 1, not 2, but 3 people and 2 dogs.
Seeing how close the fire was, I said, we gotta go, let's move now. We ran as fast as we could down to the helicopter. It was literally minutes, just a couple minutes away from burning that whole place.
But one resident is refusing to be rescued.
The dog did not want to come with us. It was scared. He heard the helicopter, saw me with a helmet and my visor on. I looked down and the fire was, it was here. It was hotter. I felt the heat.
Eventually, the dog is coaxed into the helicopter.
All right, let's get the hell out of here.
Good job, Joel.
And its mission accomplished.
Oh, that was close.
Yeah, it was.
Thank God we were there at the right time, or they would have been dead. They would not have survived, guaranteed.
That's enough excitement for me today.
Hey, you and me both, brother.
The so-called Woolsey Fire swiftly engulfed nearly 100,000 acres of land, burning the equivalent of 80 American football fields a minute. Around 1,600 homes and buildings were destroyed, and a number of A-list celebrities were forced to abandon their multi-million-dollar homes to the flames.
Fire is an equalizer. It doesn't matter if you are the richest person on Earth or you're living in a river bottom. You lose everything.
With the worst of the wildfires now extinguished, local volunteer rescuers Justin and Danielle assessed the devastation.
This is just hundreds and hundreds of homes. It's almost like an atomic bomb has gone off and it's just leveled everything. There's cars burning still. There was smoking heaps of what used to be mobile homes. There were animal carcasses and just tons of ash blowing everywhere. It's just pure devastation. Like, there's no way to describe this. That area was completely gone, incinerated, not a tree left standing.
It was like the silence of being on the moon and seeing these hills that we frequently hike. And normally there's birds and animals and trees, and it was just all gray. And there was ash flying, and it was sort of beautiful but eerily silent.
The devastating effects of the disaster will remain with residents and rescuers alike.
The scale of the Woolsey fire was the fastest and biggest brush fire I've ever responded to. The Woolsey fire took our breath away.
And the fire serves as a stark warning that Mother Nature is truly a force to be reckoned with.
It changed everything forever. It'll never be the same. I felt like Mother Nature telling us, I'm in charge here.
Dallas, Texas. It's June 2019, and it seems like a perfectly clement early summer day. In the suburbs are Richard and Danielle Shermer.
It was a beautiful Sunday. We were at home with the kids, enjoying ourselves, watching TV. We had no idea what was about to come.
A few miles away in the city, conditions are very different. And local storm chaser Connor McCrory is concerned.
Anytime a severe thunderstorm comes through a major city like Dallas, the threat to life and property is dramatically increased just because of the size of the population living there. So this was the middle of the afternoon. There were people out walking around. When debris starts flying, even small debris falling can be potentially deadly.
The Shermers are starting to notice an eerie transition.
Crazy. Slowly, it turned like pitch dark. Then the wind started to pick up. And then hail started to fall.
You almost go into shock. I remember saying to everyone, this is a tornado.
But this isn't a tornado. It's a microburst, a column of rapidly descending air within a thunderstorm.
I've never seen anything like this in my life.
The sudden heavy rain from the microburst is causing the creek behind the Shermers' property to rise rapidly.
Oh my God.
And panic is setting in.
We literally stood there looking out the window, and the moment it exceeded the concrete barrier and started to encroach onto the property, that's when I knew we were in trouble.
Water is coming up. It's about to be in the house.
Should we get stuff out of this room?
I don't know. The water looked like we were in the middle of the ocean.
Upstairs! So to look outside and see rushing water with waves going past your window was something I never in my life thought I would ever see.
It's coming up. It's at the window.
I was really scared about something hitting that window and then water rushing in.
I knew we were looking at a flooding situation. Are we gonna have to be rescued on the top of the roof?
In the city, the freak storm continues to cause havoc.
Here goes another big piece. Bam, knocked all the glass out.
And one witness captures the storm at its most catastrophic.
Oh my God, the crane is falling over. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God, you guys.
Dallas's collapsing crane isn't the only structure that is no match for Mother Nature. In Nova Scotia, the seemingly steady rotations of this colossal crane aren't being controlled by an operator. The gigantic girder is being ominously swirled solely by a barnstorming blizzard, creating a perilous propeller that shows no sign of slowing. From cranes to trains, and whipped up winds are ripping off this roof at a depot in Germany. Fortunately, no one was injured. But spare a thought for the commuters, coping with the catastrophic chaos caused to the timetables. In the neighboring Netherlands, there's yet more roofs ripped off. The damage and debris here is mostly comprised of solar panels, meaning the unfortunate homeowners must have been expecting a very different kind of weather.
Oh my God, the crane is falling over. Oh my God.
Back in Dallas, the quick-fire microburst has just crumpled a crane, and word has reached storm chaser Connor.
As soon as I heard that there had been a crane that collapsed and fell into this apartment building, I had to jump in the car and head down to the site.
But microbursts don't last long, so Connor is greeted by blue skies and total devastation.
When I first arrived on scene, it was pretty clear that the damage was serious. People were just in shock.
It's absolute chaos.
They just were still trying to process everything that had just happened, and they didn't know what hit them.
The carnage is catastrophic, and as one of the first on the scene, Connor is risking his life by documenting the destruction.
There were concrete slabs laying on vehicles, vehicles on top of vehicles. Several floors of this garage had just been completely caved in. So there were vehicles that had fallen 40 feet and were just laying upside down with their alarms going off. It was like a scene from War of the Worlds or something. By the time I left, I had a pretty somber feeling. I was just concerned about my fellow citizens, the people in the city of Dallas who had been so suddenly displaced and had their lives turned upside down.
The microburst in Dallas injured 6 people, and tragically, 1 person was killed. For the residents of Dallas, the storm is something that will stay with them for a long time.
I don't even know if we can get out of our house.
It looked like a bomb had gone off in our neighborhood.
When you're affected by these types of storms, you realize how susceptible you really are. There's no way to prepare for them, and they can happen anywhere.
We all have dangerous objects around us that can potentially impact us in the event of a severe thunderstorm. You always need to be on the lookout for something like that because you never know where the next severe weather hazard is just going to come from.
When the temperature drops and Mother Nature's icy grip takes hold, some people see it as an opportunity to have a little fun. In Siberia, one man is out for a morning stroll on his local lake. And as he films through the ice below, it reveals a sub-zero layer of solidified bubbles and crystalline formations. Although it's a fascinating sight, he is wise to tread carefully. as a slip through the ice could result in him becoming part of the icy underworld. In the French Alps, this full-throttle bike race relies on weather at its most extreme. Titled The Mountain of Hell, there's not much fire and brimstone to be found. However, plenty of riders inevitably crash and burn. It's an annual event attracting over 1,000 daredevils, cycling 11,000 feet to the finish line, where first to the bottom wins. Although due to the slippery surface, most of the riders end up on their bottoms, with very little hope of victory. In Russia, these guys are taking go-karting to a whole new dangerous level. Racing on an icy river in a 250cc kart is no mean feat. But this guy keeps us cool, even managing to perform a wheelie. The ice makes braking almost impossible, but it does provide an opportunity to show off. In this episode, we've seen Mother Nature at her most cruel.
I've never seen anything like this in my life.
We've seen her show no mercy.
Please, dear God, let me get out of this. Please, please.
We've seen her tear down.
Oh my God, the crane is falling over. Oh my God.
Rip up.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
And laugh in our faces.
Somebody's on my back.
And next time, there will be more. Because deadly weather stops for no one.
This is unreal.
The weather. An uncontrollable force. Giving us life and taking it away. As our planet heats up, the weather is getting more extreme.
Guys, we've got cars floating again.
More terrifying.
Avalanche! Avalanche!
And even more catastrophic.
If you're the praying type, please just pray for us, because this is really scary.
With incredible self-shot footage.
I thought Titanic came into my head.
From the front line of fear.
The biggest challenge we have is going against Mother Nature.
It's an extremely challenging environment.
We witness firsthand.
What I was feeling was burning from inside out.
The wrath of Mother Nature.
I was saying everything's going to be okay, even though in my head I knew that was a lie.
I'm getting out of here.
It's like your brain doesn't understand what you're seeing.
From twisted tales of terror.
I don't want to die in my store.
Death was right around the corner.
Earth-shattering natural disasters.
It's an earthquake.
You're dicing with danger. If you're in their way, you die.
And stories of sheer destruction.
Oh my God!
It's all gone.
It looks like World War II.
We meet the people who've stared death in the face.
We're not going to get out of this alive.
And survived the full force of the world's deadliest weather.
Really kicking our ass.
Coming up in this episode,
I think I'm in a goddamn tornado.
it's a desperate battle for survival.
This is in the middle of the street.
As Queensland is besieged by one of the most devastating floods in its history.
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to get you out of here, okay?
Over here!
A twister tears through Kansas,
Wow, it moved fast.
turning lives upside down.
It knocked a semi over in the road in front of us. That's unbelievable, look.
And a destructive hailstorm
This is like an apocalypse, dude.
terrorizes residents in Texas.
It sounded like a brick was being thrown at the roof, and it didn't stop.
Queensland in northeast Australia, a state boasting a tropical climate and around 4,000 miles of stunning coastline. But a prolonged drought is hitting the region, leaving rural areas parched and in desperate need of rain. Feeling the effects of the extreme dry spell is Lucy Tanner, who lives and works on a remote cattle farm.
We were experiencing a 3-year drought. It was quite a tough time as our feed wasn't available. We were feeding extra supplements to the cattle just to keep them alive.
It's February 2019, and a monsoon is developing over Queensland. Strengthened by a low-pressure front, the monsoon unleashes torrential rainfall, which at first is welcomed by residents.
You know, we couldn't be happier to receive rain.
In the city of Townsville, the Ross River Dam is filling up, much to the delight of radio DJ Brady Ellis and presenting partner Crystal.
We're at the Ross River Dam.
Yep.
And the amount of rain here right now is insane. Guess what it's up to?
Go on. Tell us, Crystal, tell us.
97.4%.
When it did start to rain, everyone was like, wow, this is amazing. Like, we're getting a little bit of rain. This is exciting. It's raining.
What was it, 97.4%? Oh my gosh.
We did like a live video as we were like cheering on the dam as it was filling up, because it had been at about 60% for years. So the fact that it was going up was a massive, massive deal.
Does anyone know where we can get an umbrella in Townsville? I've never even seen one for sale.
We're almost at 100% Townsville.
Yeah.
But the deluge of rain continues with worrying intensity, inundating rivers and the dam.
It just started and it just wouldn't stop. And there were certainly many moments where I was like, wow, this is the heaviest rain I've ever been in my life. And then an hour later, you'd be like, no, this is the heaviest rain I've ever experienced.
Very heavy rain.
As time went on, we did become anxious as to whether it was going to stop. The turning point for the rain was when it started flooding. That's when we started to think we're in trouble here.
With the Ross River Dam at breaking point, officials face a devastating dilemma. Open the gates or risk flooding an even larger area. They open the gates, but in doing so unleash close to 2 million litres of water per second into the already swollen river. And the entire community is directly in the firing line. It's a catastrophe of epic proportions.
That made an enormous amount of water flood straight down the river. Unfortunately, we live pretty close to the river, downstream, and that is when the water started to come into our house.
With the residents besieged, emergency services weighed in with a courageous relief effort. Queensland police officers Luke Southgate and Rob Hansen are two of the first on the scene.
Our main concern is the safety and welfare of people in the properties. And you got a lot of proud and stubborn people out there. They've survived it tough their whole life, and they don't believe they need any help, but they do. And they need drugs and they need food.
Just take your time, mate.
But in these conditions, the rescuers are placing themselves in great peril.
It's not just the water, it's the current. The current was the big one, so the flowing water. So even strong water, even if you go knee deep, if it's a strong current, it's really, really hard to get through.
Yeah.
Swift currents aren't the only concern. The murky waters may be hiding deadly predators.
There's heaps of sightings of crocodiles when the dam gates opened up and when the rivers rose.
And just being in that water, just being in that dirty water up to your chest or up to your waist, you can die of exposure pretty quickly.
With the rescue mission in full flow, there's an emergency call. An elderly man is trapped and at the mercy of the worsening conditions.
One of his neighbors has actually called up the police and said, look, the water's coming up. This fella is in a wheelchair and there's possibility that he may drown.
Whoa, that's not normal. We're not normally a waterfront property.
Across the submerged city, DJ Brady records a frantic broadcast for his radio station.
Have a look how deep it is. Can you see? My crutch. It's up to my crutch. This is in the middle of the street.
I was wading through water that was sort of up near my chest in some points. The water level just kept coming up and up and up.
Oh God, what's that thing? Everything that I see moving in the water I think's a crocodile, but I think it's just a piece of like a palm leaf.
From the moment of like, wow, that's a lot of rain, that's crazy, to, hey, I think we might be in a little bit of trouble here. It's kind of a weird defining moment. It's just about sort of surviving.
Take it easy. Remember, if it's flooded, forget it, and it will creep up on you. I don't want to scare you, but it certainly crept up on us.
The water is nearly up to my knees.
Just north of Townsville, resident Roger Goodwin watches in horror as the surging floodwaters ravage his home.
We're inundated. Just full on air is just coming from everywhere.
The water came so quick. Once it reached more than the property, which is about 100 metres, that water was in full flow.
Oh, hell. Yeah, it's gone in the office now, the whole lot. Come to the house, the pool's gone under.
What's going on here? How are we going to deal with this? What am I going to do?
The ute's going to go under any minute now out the front here. Here we go, we've gone under.
Floodwaters are also sweeping into rural areas and surrounding Lucy's cattle farm, leaving her cows exposed and in mortal danger.
We were literally stranded on our own little island. It was pretty scary. We couldn't do anything about it. You know, you were cut off from the world and you were isolated. It was just devastating. And that was when we knew that we were in real trouble and we had to do what we could to get cattle to high land.
It's also havoc in Brady's home, as his dog Axel bravely strives to stay afloat.
So that character's up on blocks, still wet.
We sandbagged as much as we could, but you just can't stop water from coming in. I was already visualising like having to like put the dog out through our upstairs window, and it felt like the flood had beaten us.
Meanwhile, as the potentially fatal floods continue unabated, every second counts in the race to save the stranded elderly man.
So you can imagine 50 or 60 kilometers on either side of the helicopter, completely submerged. You step off the tracks and you've got 5 or 6 feet of water. It's basically like an inland sea. There's quite a strong current, so myself and Luke both made our ways toward the house.
How you going?
We saw the house was completely inundated, and the elderly gentleman was in his mobility walker. You can see the water was starting to come up.
My name's Luke, I'm from Richmond Police. We're here to get you out.
It was a time-critical thing because he's elderly, you have to remember, and exposure was a really big thing, and there's a lot of diseases too.
I've got a dog in here. Okay.
And he was shivering and cold. Probably another hour, the water would have come up over his head, and even if it didn't,
Well, what we're going to do is we're going to get you out of here, okay?
there's a possibility you could die of exposure.
Later, residents battle to save their homes as Queensland receives 1 year's worth of rain in just 1 week.
Under the house, I've had to get upstairs. I couldn't, it's coming up the stairs here.
This is my personal stuff and I'm losing it.
And radio DJ Brady and his dog Axel brave crocodile-infested floodwaters.
I quickly packed a couple of things. We got the dog. It was just insane.
the Midwest of America, home to Tornado Alley, a region prone to some of the world's most deadly and most destructive twisters.
Look at that.
It's a magnet for storm chasers. Among them, husband and wife team Amy and Val Castor.
Wow, look at that. Yeah, wow, look at that.
We've been chasing together for 20 years or so, even before we got married.
Man, that rotation's still pretty strong.
It still is?
Our main objective on a chase is to try to keep everybody safe.
Tornado, we got a tornado now.
Working for the local news team, Val and Amy keep others informed of any mounting threats.
This is about a mile east of us right now. A funnel has formed.
We're able to warn them and give them up-to-the-minute reports.
I'm going to pull back and show you guys how that's angled.
It's really become our passion, more so to be able to help save lives.
Look at that! Look at that! We just got broken.
But the dangerous task of trying to keep residents safe often puts Val and Amy's own lives at risk.
Yeah, these are golf balls here.
We try to get close, and getting close to it sometimes means that we have to cross the path of it.
There's definitely times when we get scared. It doesn't matter how much experience you have, there's always going to be those unpredictable storms.
It's tornado season, May 2019, and Val and Amy are on a chase which has led them to the town of Mineola in Kansas.
Wow, look at that motion.
We were able to parallel this tornado. We actually could have driven right into it. We were that close to it.
In about 2 minutes, it's going to be right over the highway.
You can tell there's quite a lot of traffic on Highway 54.
As Val tracks the twister, Amy is warning nearby residents of its movements.
Okay, this is 5 miles southwest of Mineola, tracking straight for Mineola. Okay, we have a debris cloud.
Oh, we got a debris cloud now. No, dust debris on the ground, right there.
The towering tornado gathers strength and begins to rapidly rotate towards the road.
This thing is going to cross the road right in front of us, guys. Right in front of us.
I was so scared for the people that were on the road ahead of us. I could see the headlights. I was really concerned that that tornado would cross and someone might get hit.
Wow, man! It is just right in this field, right over here, right next to us. Good grief.
You could tell in my voice, we're excited.
It's getting stronger. It's 100 yards from us.
Adrenaline is pumping big time.
It's right there.
I know.
In those moments, it's like game on.
Over here!
Wow, it moved fast.
It became a very chaotic situation because we had circulation to our north, we had just had circulation to our south, but then I saw this massive swirling debris on the right. Up ahead, I could see out of the corner of my eye, I saw the semi-truck.
Oh, it's on the road! It knocked the semi over in the road in front of us!
That's crazy stuff. When you see a semi get knocked over right in front of you, you know, that tornado's strong.
It just now knocked this semi over. Well, I gotta check on this driver here, guys.
Okay.
All right, we're getting tornado winds now. Hold on.
With no time to waste, Val leaves the safety of his vehicle, putting himself directly in the danger zone.
He could be laying there bleeding. He could have gotten pinned under something. I had no clue what I was going to find.
Oh my goodness.
In the middle of tornado season, similar incidents happen all across the US. On a highway in Tennessee, this queue of traffic is also at the heart of a wild weather danger zone.
Oh my God!
And a 10-ton truck is no match for Mother Nature.
I don't see you. Are you okay, dude? Get out! Hey!
Miraculously, this jackknifing juggernaut didn't injure the crumpled car's driver, and everyone involved escaped unscathed. In Minnesota,
Yeah, this is pretty intense right here.
this startled driver is treacherously trapped in the middle of a vicious storm.
I think I'm in a goddamn tornado.
Oh my God, this is terrifying.
But it's going to get worse before it gets better.
The power lines are going down. This has got to pass soon. This has got to be done soon. Oh, all right, it's lightening up now.
The tornado passes, and the driver is left to contemplate his ordeal in a state of disbelief.
I think I just went to a tornado.
Across the state of Arizona, so-called dust devils can flare up at any time.
It's actually moving toward me. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo.
It may look spectacular, but this driver is about to learn that toying with Mother Nature might not be the best idea.
Coming toward me. What the heck?
A short while later, there's proof that he was right to beat a hasty retreat.
That's where I was parked at.
And with another plot twist, the twister shows no signs of abating.
He's literally following me.
Oh, it's on the road! It knocked a semi over in the road in front of us!
Back in Kansas, storm chasers Val and Amy Castor have stopped to help the driver of a semi-truck that has been flipped by a powerful tornado.
Val's checking on this driver just to make sure he's okay.
We were the very first people on the scene.
Okay, there's the tornado.
I ran up to the glass and I looked in. He was hanging sideways, still strapped in with his seatbelt. He kind of had a really, really dazed look on his face, almost like he had just seen a ghost or something.
The semi just ran smack right into that tornado, and there's a lot of people trying to help him out right now.
He had gotten out a small pocket knife and he started sawing on the seatbelt, and he cut the seatbelt. And when he did, he fell down.
We've got emergency help coming as we speak.
And at that point, a couple of more people had driven up. The fire truck or the emergency responders took over, and then we left.
Seatbelt saved him.
Wow.
Look at that tornado.
Val and Amy carry on with their chase.
Then it was catch-up time.
Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go.
If you live a mile north of Mineola, this could get very, very near you.
But the monster tornado is now advancing towards its next victim.
Wow,
Look at that. It's right in front of us. Boy, it's moving faster than you think. It's going right through a house.
Oh, no.
Right through a house. Look at that. Look at the debris. Oh, my gosh, it just hit this house.
The second that tornado touched that house, kaboom.
Val and Amy can only watch in horror as the tornado makes a direct hit on the farmhouse.
Debris went everywhere. Pieces of that house were just flying all over the place.
Large chunks of the roof, pieces of tin from the barns, whole trees just swirling through the air.
Oh my goodness.
Let's go check on them.
Once again, Val and Amy are first on the scene.
I just remember feeling so scared.
Sound your siren.
That's hard for us as storm chasers because, we can give the warnings out, but we can't stop what's happening.
What kind of house?
It's a mobile home, too.
Okay.
I was a little bit worried about it to see what we might find because that house was damaged enough to where there very well could have been people hurt there.
Val frantically approaches the wreckage of the farmhouse.
We started looking around, we started yelling for people. Someone might have been trapped in the debris.
This is the mobile home that was just destroyed. Hopefully they had a storm shelter. There were several barns on the property that are completely destroyed.
Emergency services arrive at the scene with news about the occupants of the house.
They yelled at us and said, everybody's fine, there was nobody here. They left before it even hit. So great news. I mean, we're so happy to hear about that.
It is lifting back up into the cloud.
The Mineola tornado was classified as an EF3, with wind speeds reaching 138 miles per hour.
Oh man, that thing formed rapidly.
It caused severe damage to farmsteads, but fortunately, there were no fatalities.
Saving lives is our priority, and it just makes you feel good when you can actually go out and accomplish what your goal is.
Oh, it's on the road! It knocked a semi over in the road in front of us!
That's one of our most dramatic tornadoes ever. As a storm chaser, it's really exciting to get close to a tornado. That's kind of our goal. On this tornado, we really pushed it right to the limit. It doesn't really get any better than that.
Still to come. Queensland residents are trapped.
Another hour, the water would have come up over his head.
At the mercy of rising floodwaters.
Under the house, I had to get upstairs. I couldn't. It's coming up the stairs here.
And destructive winds blow a base jumper dangerously off course.
This is how you die in Iceland.
In the US, hailstorms cause billions of dollars worth of damage each year. This woman in Illinois is at home as a hailstorm hits and starts pounding her window pane. The weather is getting a little too close for comfort. And as the pummeled pane shatters, it showers her with shards. But the only harm done was likely to be a dent in her wallet. In Melbourne, Australia, this scantily clad car owner is prioritising his pride and joy over his own safety. After steeling himself against hailstones the size of golf balls, the persistent pelting eventually proves too much, and his mate steps in to save the day, fully armed against the elements. At least he won't be able to see any damage.
Holy Moses!
When weather worsens, find shelter wherever you can. Like these fairgoers in Alberta, Canada. When a hailstorm hits, they quite literally take cover, cowering under any object they can run with. Plastic chairs provide plenty of portable protection. But it's trestle tables that keep this resourceful family safe from the onslaught. However, not all hailstorms are created equal. On March 24th, 2019, powerful air fronts clashed suddenly in the skies above Frisco, North Texas, creating one of the worst hailstorms the city had ever witnessed. Getting ready to go out are Monica and Marlon.
It was a typical spring day, and it was sunny actually, and we were planning on going to a friend's concert. Right when we opened the door, there was just hail there. It took us by surprise.
That's unbelievable, look!
It was literally out of nowhere. I think the most shocking part of it was the intensity. It felt like the end of the world, basically.
That's the first time that I saw like a huge hailstorm in my life.
I've never seen it in my life.
There's like 3-4 inches of ice in the street.
At the time, I slowly watched our truck getting hit by the hailstorm, so that slowly broke my heart. We were actually kind of late to go to the concert, so we were actually kind of thankful. We were like, wow, what if we actually left on time? Like, imagine being in a car in the middle of this hailstorm. It was pretty scary.
On the other side of the city, the prospect of being trapped in a car is the harsh reality facing cameraman Chad Hatcher.
When the initial hailstone hit the car, it sounded like a brick was being thrown at the roof. The pace picked up, and it was just, you know, it felt like 20, 30, 40 at a time were coming down on the roof and windshield. When fragments of the glass started hitting me in the face, and I was extremely concerned for my own well-being.
This is like an apocalypse, dude.
I was certain that something was going to come through the roof. It was just unpredictable, and it didn't stop.
It's surreal outside. It's like a haze or something.
Felt like we needed to get off that highway. I pulled into a church, and it looked like the church was full. The church parking lot was full. And People were just compressed under this awning and this shelter. There was what seemed to be 30 cars just trying to get out of the storm's path. I felt trapped in the car. I'm claustrophobic by nature.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna get caught.
As the hailstorm intensifies, it's battering everything exposed, including the wildlife in Monica and Marlon's garden.
I was the first one who saw the rabbit, and it looked like it was being hurt, and that's what hit me. And I was like, Mom, can you please save him?
It's like a bunch of rocks in your head.
It was hurting you, right?
No, yes. It's not normal. It's a dangerous weather.
I was so worried about the bunny. I was just like, go, please.
She was worried about the bunny, not about me. So, can you imagine?
But the heroic deed proves more challenging than expected.
We tried to chase it, and I think it made it worse because it just kept running deeper into the hail, and I don't think there was any shelter he could find.
And after the storm, there's a poignant reminder of Mother Nature's brutality.
When we found the rabbit the next day, it was dead. But it was really upsetting that we couldn't do more than we did, but we're glad that we tried.
It's really hard to survive in a huge hailstorm like that.
And as Chad surveyed the dented metal that had been his shield, it was just as unsettling.
No them jokers were hard hitting.
Had I got out of the car, I probably would have had some sort of severe head trauma. It was just so intense, and I can just imagine getting hit by 20 to 30 baseballs on the head all at the same time. It's not gonna feel good.
I think I can make it home, T. It's gonna drive super slow.
An event like this will make me consider watching the weather closely the next time something like this happens.
Earlier, we saw how a destructive monsoon dumped unprecedented rainfall in Queensland, Australia,
It's up to my crutch. This is in the middle of the street.
leading to a flood that caused widespread catastrophic damage to the area. Police officers Luke and Rob have fought against the conditions to reach a physically impaired man unable to escape his home.
We're here to get you out.
Probably another hour, the water would have come up over his head.
When my partner comes, we'll probably carry you back over to the railway line. We've got a helicopter here ready to take you back into the...
Luke and Rob proceed with caution and lift the vulnerable victim to safety.
Here we go. I'll give you a hand. Just lean on me.
He didn't have the use of his legs.
Yeah.
And because remember he's sitting in like a wheelchair walker, so he's a lot lower, and the water's rising. So just because of his age, I don't think he had a grasp of the situation. But I was really worried of the fact that he could die of exposure here, or he could drown.
But with powerful currents and crocodiles potentially inches away, every step is fraught with danger.
Initially, I tried to put him on my back.
Down the water.
But the terrifying torrents are hindering the rescue.
Yeah, hold him on.
Luke and myself, we basically had to carry him.
Just roll over on your back, Nancy. I want you, mate.
But we had to deal with the water and the current. It was a really, really big effort.
Perfect. How'd that feel?
It took a long time, probably just half an hour to go 100 meters. And I just remember the bugs and the snakes swimming through the water. And I'm glad I had Luke there, because someone less fit, it would have been very, very hard to do that. Myself and Luke, we got him up into the helicopter, strapped him in. And it was, we were very, very tired by the time we got him up into the helicopter.
There's also some help on hand for Brady as he flees as fast as he can with beloved Dalmatian Axel.
We quickly packed a couple of things. We got the dog, got him to try and swim through our living room, which was a bit unusual, and through the kitchen. And he hopped up on a kayak that the local army team had. We have quite a lot of crocodiles, and when half of our suburb is covered in river water, there was a lot of talk that, hey, there's probably some crocs around here. So we thought it was a good idea for him to be up on the kayak. It was just insane.
There's the backyard. There's the pool. We've got a new pool now.
While the perilous evacuations continue, escape is sadly not an option for shocked Blue Water resident Roger.
My youth's gone under the house. I can't even get under the house now. Unbelievable.
I thought, well, I can't go anywhere. What can I do?
Mate, there's under the house. I better get upstairs. I couldn't. It's coming up the stairs here. Holy bloody hell. Look at this underneath me. She just...
And I'm thinking no one would have survived trying to swim against it or through it.
What's that up there? 4 stairs up and rising.
The stuff that I've built, I've made, I've purchased. This is my personal stuff and I'm losing it.
In the office under the house, it's gone.
The catastrophe is escalating in the outback as thousands of cattle are perishing at an alarming rate. To prevent further loss of life, Lucy must get food to the endangered herd before they die of starvation.
The hay drops were pretty challenging, from pushing over hay bales and loading them into nets to being dropped on the high land and standing and walking in the mud. It was probably a bit above your knees, and it was quite physically draining.
Lucy manages to save over 6,000 cows, but ultimately that is scant consolation.
Overall, we lost around 4,000 head of cattle. It was absolutely heartbreaking to see.
The Queensland floods of 2019 were one of the worst in the region's living memory. More than 1,500 homes were destroyed, with over $1 billion worth of damage caused. Tragically, 4 fatalities were reported. Axel the Dalmatian was carried to safety, but Brady's home was left decimated.
When we did pull up at our house, it was just devastation everywhere. It's a very unusual feeling to start shoveling filth out of your living room. Everything that we had just spent so much money and so much time and had so much pride in is gone.
After a couple of days, the emotion set in of how devastating the whole thing had impacted on us, in a sense of like devastation and horrific outcomes for a lot of families in this area. It's just untold. It was tear-jerking stuff.
Eyjafjallajökull, Iceland. Home to the infamous volcano that caused widespread travel chaos in 2010. But while its eruption grounded thousands of frustrated holidaymakers, it only served to inspire professional base jumper Matthias Giraud, aka Super Frenchie.
I don't know why, I just started being obsessed with flying a wingsuit over it. And my rule of thumb is, if you think about something, then you should go and do it.
And so Matthias makes a plan. To jump from a helicopter and harness the wind to fly over the glacier around the active volcano.
And we calculated from here to here, it's only 5 kilometers.
Soar across its crater and land on the lava field beyond.
And we're gonna do the first wingsuit flight off of it. And I'm really excited.
We're jumping over a glacier, a volcano that is on top of a mountain.
That wind is strong.
So the main problem in making this jump happen is the weather. Iceland has the second most unpredictable weather in the world.
Keeping a close eye on the conditions are Matthias' support team and friend Zach.
At the start of the day, I did have a little bit of fear. We had checked that morning and it seemed like it was going to be a good day. It was beautiful.
With the forecast favorable, Matthias prepares to take the plunge.
I'm about to jump over an active volcano. And even if it's not erupting, if you land in the crater, just the toxic gas will be enough to kill you. I positioned myself to jump. I gave a count with my wing. As I opened my wing, the wind kind of blew me back. And I thought it was the relative wind created by the aircraft flying. I jumped.
The second Matthias jumped out, that's when we could tell instantly that it wasn't calm. There was a lot of wind and it was pushing him further away from his destination than we originally wanted. And I think that's when it all kind of started to go wrong.
The wind gusts are way higher than expected, taking Matthias dangerously off course and away from his intended landing spot.
The wind had picked up from the north at 40 knots. Oh my God, there's a ton of wind. Right there, I realized that I was not gonna fly down that canyon. If I tried to commit to the line, most likely I would die landing in a bunch of rocks. This was probably the strongest wind I had ever jumped in. I'm not moving. I am sinking onto the glacier.
Unpredictable winds can strike anytime, anywhere, and can be life-threatening for like-minded thrill-seekers. In Belgium, a paraglider is hit by turbulence at the worst possible moment. As his chute gets caught in a twist, panic sets in. His screams of pain speak volumes, but luckily, he lives to tell the tale. This first-time flyer in California is getting to grips with the basics, whilst being coached over the radio.
Again, I want you to watch your penetration. See, you're not flying forward very fast. You're stuck on a high wind entry.
But he soon learns about the power of the wind the hard way.
Left brake, fly towards me, otherwise you're gonna end up in the bushes. Let the butterfly. Ready?
Well, I don't think that was supposed to happen.
In Brazil, this helmet cam captures the frightening descent of a skydiver on a collision course with the town below, due to an unexpected change in wind direction. Crash landing at such a pace, it's a miracle he escapes significant injury. And it serves to show how dangerous it can be when you put your life in the hands of Mother Nature. Back in Iceland, base jumper Matthias is soaring over a glacier, but he's losing altitude fast as deadly winds are sending him plummeting towards the ground.
Like somebody was holding a super powered fan against me, or pretty much like I was trying to fly against a jet engine. Not really going anywhere.
No longer able to fly over the volcano, all he can hope for now is a safe landing, without crashing into the crater's rim or the rocky landscape below.
It was just this invisible hand of God just putting me back in my place.
Matthias has no choice but to open his parachute early.
I had to pull my parachute as soon as I could and try to land on the glacier. It was an incredibly brutal parachute opening, since I was opening in full flight into a full headwind. It was like a head-on collision. You almost like act as a kite, and you're just a puppet on string at this time. And managed to land on the flat part of the glacier, but the wind is so strong that it's just dragging me across the ice and across the rocks. But right there, it hit me. I'm like, oh God, my radio is dead, my smoke canister is dead, I'm stranded on the glacier. It's about minus 20 degrees Celsius. This is how you die in Iceland.
Things go from bad to worse, as Matthias's white wingsuit, which was originally intended to help his crew spot him against the black lava fields, is now acting as camouflage.
I have a white parachute, a white wingsuit on. Nobody's gonna see me. I was just gonna blend in to this white emptiness.
As Matthias merges with the snow, it's almost impossible for his team to spot him.
Of course, your mind is just going through all the things that could be happening to your friend or what they could be dealing with at the time. You know, are they suffering? Are they in pain? Have they gotten hurt?
I was feeling like this was going to be like a body recovery mission, not a rescue mission, which is very hard to swallow.
Panic is mounting for Matthias as his support crew fail to realize they're flying directly above him.
And I'm waving my arms so they can see, hopefully, something moving, maybe just a little speck. They were just flying right past me and they couldn't see me. I have to start moving because otherwise I'm going to be stranded on this glacier overnight, and that would mean freezing to death.
With the situation growing increasingly desperate, time is running out.
After nearly 2 hours of searching, we were almost out of fuel, and we had searched everywhere, and we were on our very last pass, about to head back. This mission is over, and Matthias he's gone. That's it.
But against the odds, there's suddenly a glimmer of hope.
I turned around, I looked out the window, and I saw this like quick little flash.
And what Zach saw was the reflection of the sun in my goggles. I wasn't even doing it on purpose. Somehow I was just looking at the helicopter and probably moving my head, and with the sun pounding on that golden lens, it made a little light signal. My goggles saved me. I just realized right there, like, yeah, I'm gonna live. I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my God, they actually found me.
The glacier got me. All right, good jump though, right?
I was in 100% shock. I just could not believe that somebody could have gone through something like that and just been totally fine.
It's gnarly out there. Welcome to Iceland. I got the bang.
No injury was sustained, and it ended up being a happy ending.
And Matthias was determined not to let the experience stop him doing what he does best. But now that he's diced with death, Matthias has a newfound respect for the power of the elements.
You don't mess with the weather. But if we don't listen to nature, we'll definitely be put back in our places.
When Mother Nature turns nasty, it takes a real hero to stand up to her. In Montreal, Canada, this caped crusader has swapped battling the bad guys for waging a one-man war against the weather. In a scene that could have been set by Mr. Freeze, snow has engulfed this man's car. But somewhere in Batman's utility belt, there's room for a shovel, which enables this dynamic duo to free the trapped motor. Take that, villainous snowdrifts! Elsewhere in Canada, is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's a have-a-go hero trying to harness the power of a blizzard to fly. It's perhaps just as well that his secret identity remains intact, as he goes from hero to zero in one fell swoop. In Boston, in the US, this burly ice maiden is trying to rescue a police van stuck in a snowbank.
Come on, Elsa. Let him go.
Dressed as heroine Elsa, she's more like a Wonder Woman as she battles with the dastardly wedged wheels.
The hero we didn't deserve.
It's a classic Disney ending, as good overcomes evil. And she even has time to salute her adoring, if somewhat stunned, fans.
He's gonna stop and
In this episode, we've seen Mother Nature go full throttle. We've seen her whip up, wipe out,
unbelievable,
and wreak havoc.
It knocked the semi over in the road in front of us.
And next time, there will be more.
It's actually moving toward me.
Because deadly weather stops for no one.
This is unreal.
The weather. An uncontrollable force. Giving us life and taking it away. As our planet heats up, the weather is getting more extreme.
Guys, we've got cars floating again.
More terrifying.
Avalanche!
And even more catastrophic.
If you're the praying type, please just pray for us, because this is really scary.
With incredible self-shot footage.
I thought Titanic came into my head.
From the front line of fear.
The biggest challenge we have is going against Mother Nature.
It's an extremely challenging environment.
We witness firsthand.
What I was feeling was burning from inside out.
The wrath of Mother Nature.
I was saying everything's going to be okay, even though in my head I knew that was a lie.
No, I'm getting out of here.
It's like your brain doesn't understand what you're seeing.
From twisted tales of terror.
I don't want to die in my store.
Death was right around the corner.
Earth-shattering natural disasters.
An earthquake!
You're dicing with danger. If you're on their way, you die.
And stories of sheer destruction.
Oh my God!
It's all gone.
It looks like World War II.
We meet the people who've stared death in the face.
We're not going to get out of this alive.
And survived the full force of the world's deadliest weather.
Really kicking our ass.
Coming up in this episode. Residents run for their lives after violent volcanic eruptions in Hawaii.
This is insane.
It just ripped the ground open and it's just going straight up in the air.
As deadly molten magma creeps across the island, destroying everything in sight.
Don't get any closer.
This is not a water area.
In Texas, it's a race against time to rescue elderly people from potentially fatal flooding.
You can't see in it, it's not very clear.
There's a bridge here.
And in England, a paddleboarder battles high winds and tumultuous tides to attempt a mammoth mission.
Oh, man, this is not good. If I don't get round these cliffs, I'm going to be in serious trouble.
It's gonna be a proper battle.
Hawaii, part of a group of tropical islands nestled in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. The so-called Big Island is home to Lori Maximenko and her husband, Steve.
We love it because it's like paradise.
The temperature only varies within like 10 or 15 degrees, and it's just such a beautiful place to live.
But Hawaii is also home to a deadly volcano named Kilauea, which has been erupting almost continually for over 30 years. As resident Gabe Humphreys is all too aware.
I was born and raised on the Big Island, Hawaii, so lava is not like something completely new to me.
It's May 2018, and a sudden surge of magma causes Kilauea's crater floor to collapse. Lava starts to drain from the volcano, and a series of earthquakes causes cracks, known as fissures, to appear in the ground all over the island.
These cracks are getting bigger, and it does kind of smell a little sulfur right there. There's heat coming from the cracks in the road, so that was a pretty good indicator that lava was going to pop up in this area.
Hot, molten rock starts to ooze from the cracks, with an intensity that few could have predicted. And the deadly menace begins to engulf the island.
The lava just kept creeping closer and closer every day. We became more and more concerned.
Across town in Leilani Estates, local residents Denise Dalton and her husband Heath are also concerned.
The fissure opened up at the bottom of Leilani. You look at the line, I was like, that's gonna go right where our house is.
Suddenly, the pressure of volcanic gases underground proves too much.
At that point, it was just to rip the ground open, and it's just going straight up in the air. You can hear cracks, explosions. And then you have the sound of the jet engine. It kind of hits pretty much all the senses.
As Denise and Heath flee their home, along with thousands of others.
Let's go! More of Luana has been taken out.
Gabe decides to stand his ground and risk his life to record the devastating disaster as it unfolds.
We got some lava here. This is insane. There's mass plant die-off and brush fires, wildfires that was caused by the lava. Wow. I'm okay though. I just want you to know that I'm doing good. And this is an update. I gotta watch the rocks falling. They're flying about 100 feet. This is a fissure that is opened up and lava is pouring out of it. It's insane. There's 24 fissures in total. A crack could open up in the surface of the earth and swallow a house or have enough heat to burn down the house. Another fissure. Wow. I'm danger close, people. I'm getting out of here. Lava falling. Lava falling. Wow.
And with the lava comes another deadly threat.
My biggest concern was volcanic gases, SO2, and all those even deadlier gases.
As new fissures open up all around the island.
That is incredible.
Laurie and her husband Steve evacuate, but soon return to the area to assess the escalating disaster.
Oh my gosh, honey. Don't get any closer.
We wanted to get back there just to get an idea of how close the lava was. It was just happening all around us.
This is happening right now.
I think that's when panic really set in, that this was not over and it was going to get much worse before it got any better.
The lava is burning at temperatures of over 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit and is destroying everything in its path. Directly in the line of fire is the home of retired residents Larry and Jerry Butler.
Yeah, I didn't realize the severity of it until a friend called and said that a fissure had opened up a block away from our house and lava was heading towards our house. I think it was about a block away.
And it was flowing downhill towards ours.
But we couldn't do anything about it.
By nightfall, the lava has reached Laurie's neighborhood.
We saw the lava coming up out of the ground in our neighbor's backyard. So we actually walked back there. We had to get into the mindset of, okay, we're going into a dangerous area.
Oh, she's hot.
There's going to be heat, there's going to be fire, there's going to be gases.
Max.
Max had a rake in the back of our truck, and so he grabbed a rake and actually dipped the rake down into the lava. Wow. It was literally almost touching the house. It was amazing. It was like a lava river, only 2 houses away from our house and happening right before our very eyes.
Later, residents watch in horror as violent explosions cause carnage.
I've never experienced anything that powerful or that uncontrollable.
And the devastating lava flow destroys entire communities.
There was no use wondering whether we had a place to live later. It was gone.
It's August 2017, and Hurricane Harvey, a 280-mile-wide Category 4 behemoth, has made landfall in Texas, USA. As the hurricane moves further inland, it dumps a record 51 inches of rain in some parts of the state, causing catastrophic flooding. One of the places worst hit is the city of Houston, home to local resident Wade Grimes.
It was a lot of rainfall, not as much of the wind damage that you would get from a hurricane, but just tons and tons of water. The water level rose 4 or 5 feet in a matter of hours in the middle of the night, and people were woke up, from a sleep with water in their houses.
Hi, this is my neighbor Eric. This is his boat. Eric, say hi.
Having escaped the hurricane unharmed, Wade and his neighbor Eric Johansson decide to try and help those less fortunate.
Eric had came over and he knocked and said, "Hey, I've got the boat. Do you want to go out and see if we can help anybody?"
As they steer the boat through the flood-ravaged streets, Eric receives a desperate call about a nursing home in need of assistance.
When we heard that the river was rising drastically, that's when the nursing home was taking on water and were calling for immediate assistance. Anybody that was able and capable of helping evacuate a lot of the residents at the home. You know, my neighbor and I went not knowing exactly what we were getting into. Neither one of us had ever done this before and didn't know really what to expect.
Don't go right there, because I saw that guy get stuck.
But as they race to rescue the vulnerable veterans, Wade and Eric discover the rising floodwaters are hiding huge hazards.
There's a bridge here. Yeah.
There's barricades either side of this stop sign.
We saw nothing but what looked like a lake. You're navigating a boat where a car or a truck or a vehicle should be driving, and the water is very murky. You can't see in it, it's not very clear.
This is not a water area, but it's like any other lake I've been on.
Stop signs are, 7 foot, 8 feet tall, and the water was over that. We would see objects in the water and we realized they're cars. It was definitely a kind of a shock to the system.
We're going across, parking lots, we're going across roads. I could have hit something hard enough that it cracked the fiberglass hull and could have potentially caused a leak.
Eventually, the pair arrive at the nursing home and are overwhelmed by what they find.
We showed up, there was probably maybe half a dozen boats or so by the time we arrived. It was pretty humbling, seeing how many people were out there.
It was just everyday people who had a boat that wanted to help their fellow man. It was fantastic to see everybody come together to help out those who couldn't help themselves. It's a heartwarming sight.
That's about as far as I'm going right there.
With the residents of the nursing facility mostly wheelchair-bound, the volunteers have to take extra care helping them onto the boats.
They're already frail and fragile people, and this terrible event happens to them. They couldn't walk on their own, and we actually had to pick the wheelchairs up and put them on the boat.
Keep that front wheel over. We got you.
It was just kind of a trial and error.
Guys and gals that are, on the ground trying to lift those folks up. It's literally a brute force manpower. There's no pretty way around it.
All right, watch your step, watch your step.
Trying to get them secure without, the wheelchair falling over. It was scary.
There we go. A little bit of a recliner, but we'll get you there.
Everybody was eager to get in there and help. Nobody ever lost, their tempers. Everybody's there to help. Everybody kind of waits in line.
I'll drive the boat if y'all just stay with them. We'll get it push it up.
And it's more or less controlled chaos.
Yeah, we'll be right back.
Conducting rescues in hazardous flood conditions is usually a job for the professionals. But from time to time, everyday people are called upon to perform some extraordinary heroics. In China, a flash flood has stranded this vehicle, and the driver is trapped. As the vehicle sinks deeper, Good Samaritans risk their own lives to try and free the stricken driver. But the car seems impenetrable as the rescuers use rocks in a desperate bid to break windows. Incredibly, their dogged determination pays off, and a shell-shocked woman is pulled to safety through the sunroof. To the relief of everyone involved. Also in China, heavy rain from Typhoon Mongud has left rivers swollen. Passers-by suddenly spot a man who's been washed away in the flood. As he struggles to keep his head above the torrent, the locals scramble to help. At first, it seems he's been dragged under the bridge. But then they notice he's clinging onto debris for dear life. As the rescuers drag the victim from the raging river, he's exhausted, but lives to tell the tale. This school bus in India has become stranded in an underpass flooded by torrential rainfall. Luckily, a local with a bulldozer is on hand to conduct a remarkable rescue. With the help of more passers-by, the school children climb into the bulldozer's bucket before being driven to dry land. Another 2 trips, and all those on board are safe and dry, thanks to these have-a-go heroes.
We'll drop off and be back.
Back in Texas, neighbors Wade and Eric are helping to evacuate the elderly residents of a flooded care home.
Ladies, we're gonna go for a little boat ride.
I had to physically pick these people up and hand them to these people, and to keep them out of the water and keep their clothes dry and keep their wheelchairs clean, because the water is very dirty.
Okay, all right. Ready? Your turn now. Back her up.
Wade and Eric take advantage of the flooded streets to transport the elderly residents to safety, helped by many other members of the community.
This wheel does lock. Yeah, it's locked.
And everybody, you know, they came out to us. They made sure our boats were not grinding on the concrete whenever we came in. They stood in waist-deep water. We handed them to somebody.
1, 2, 3.
It was a pretty well-oiled machine.
Thanks, guys. Hey, no worries. More plug out.
With the evacuation complete, Wade and Eric returned to the flooded care home to try and save supplies and belongings.
When we got most of the people out, I decided to go in and try to get as many things in from inside that these people would be needing. Medication, blankets.
That mattress is floating. We're not gonna take that one. This one is still dry.
It was very shocking when you go into where people were living and you're in knee-deep water. It was very tough to, you know, kind of put into words. And the smell, I mean, you know, this was sewage had been coming out of the floors. You know, it was scary.
Oh, there's a lot more supplies. We're trying to get the medical supplies, medication, etc.
All 130 residents are rescued from the home. And after salvaging supplies, Wade and Eric return to dry land.
Boats up out of the water. Good deeds done.
Hurricane Harvey was one of the most devastating on record, causing around $125 billion worth of damage. But the community spirit Wade and Eric witnessed that day is something they will remember for years to come.
You saw a lot of good of coming out in people that, quite frankly, didn't know each other. I saw the better side of humanity.
The amount of selfless acts that we saw that day. It's very heartwarming when people put their differences aside, put their daily problems aside, and go out and help one another. You know, it's a beautiful thing.
Still to come, volcanic eruptions get more violent as molten lava continues to destroy homes across Hawaii.
It was kind of devastating to watch it happen.
I just was in shock.
And a super typhoon slams into Saipan, battering buildings with 180 miles per hour winds.
I don't think I ever experienced that terror in my life.
Meet paddleboarder Charlie Head from the Isle of Wight in the UK.
I've been paddleboarding maybe about 15 years. Paddleboarding is a little bit more vulnerable compared to a kayak. You're very open, standing up, and you need to adapt to different terrain and different conditions. I have a very special relationship with it, and I've used it for most of my biggest journeys.
Like in 2012.
Bye!
When he set himself the challenge of paddleboarding from Land's End to London. A 500-mile mission that tested the very limits of his endurance. But Charlie wasn't done. And in 2016, he decided to pick up where he left off and set himself the ultimate goal to circumnavigate England and Wales, finishing back in Land's End. A total distance of around 2,000 miles.
Paddleboarding around the United Kingdom was a very spontaneous journey. It really did start with me just packing a bag with basic essentials, no plan, no structure, just for me to be governed by the wind and tide and go.
And so, armed with nothing more than his paddleboard, a few basic supplies, and a love of adventure, Charlie heads off.
I find so much of life so controlled, so structured, It leaves such little room for you to be able to spontaneously act on your environment around you. And I find that really rewarding. But it can be exceptionally stressful as well.
Paddling headfirst out into the open ocean is no easy task, especially if you're going the wrong way.
I went anti-clockwise, which was a mistake, and that's due to the tide and the wind. England has quite a rugged, wild coastline, and the tide can be quite strong. If I'm going to aim for a bit of coastline, if I'm going to do 60 kilometers in a day, I've got 6 hours of tide with me, so I've got a certain amount of time to get to a certain place before the weather changes all the time.
I've got to get around these. The tide is just about to turn.
The wind and the tide were the only things that could really dictate how far I go each day. They are just too powerful for me to fight against. But I didn't have the luxury of time. So really, whatever the weather, I would try and make headway. Because of that, sometimes it would lock me into cliffs and into situations that are maybe a little bit more dangerous. And sometimes the tide would suck me into different places that I didn't want to be in. It would trap me in certain shipping areas. Oh, man, this is not good. It's quite intimidating because I'm so small, and these tankers and ferries stuff, they're not going to see me, especially in a big sea state.
To avoid being sucked out towards these tankers by the tide, Charlie tries sticking closer to the cliffs. But the tides also make this a risky course of action.
The way the tides work meant that wherever I landed at low tide. And it exposed a lot more hazards. I had huge amounts of reef and sandbanks and rocks and everything to trail through. You get the tide wrong, you can really get yourself in trouble.
Tides can rise and fall at a rapid rate, easily catching out those who don't take them seriously. On Daytona Beach in the US, a family's car is being swallowed by a rapidly rising tide, with a child still on board. As waves batter the vehicle, lifeguards desperately fight to rescue the child before the car is swept out to the sea. Finally, they manage to pull the child free. Just in the nick of time. In Honolulu, in Hawaii, a treacherous tide is dragging this little boy into the ocean. As his family struggle to save him, other beachgoers race to his rescue, all of them battling the turbulent tide together. Eventually, the group manages to pull the boy to safety before he is swallowed by the ocean.
Here they are.
In Goat Rock Beach, California, USA, a family playing too close to the shore have been swept out to sea. Winds whip up waves as high as 40 feet as they're relentlessly battered by the rough surf. As the family struggle to keep their heads above water, a rescue helicopter is scrambled. And one by one, they're all winched to safety. Thankfully, there were no casualties, but it's a sobering reminder how merciless the sea can be. Battling winds back in the UK, Charlie Head is halfway through his challenge to become the first person to circumnavigate England and Wales on a paddleboard.
Paddling into the wind is a bit of a nightmare. Sometimes the conditions are so strong I could barely paddle against it.
This is gonna be a fight, eh?
I had a very strong wind that was just pushing straight on shore and into the cliff. And I had miles and miles to go before I could find a cove or an inlet or a beach. The weather is getting worse and worse. If I don't get around these cliffs, I'm going to be in serious trouble.
There's nowhere for me to land.
In dire need of a safe place to camp for the night, Charlie's options are quickly running out.
The sea state's getting bigger and bigger. I've only got a few hours of tide before it's going to be against me. And that, combined with the wind, means I'm not going to be able to make it.
The combined power of the tide and the wind proved too much for Charlie, who decides to take drastic action.
I have no choice but to scramble up a cliff and camp up there for the night and wait for this weather to turn.
Choice campsite tonight.
So I was locked into a cliff edge for a couple of days. I've got limited supplies and just be patient. And as soon as this wind turns, then I can get the hell out of here.
Forced to camp on a cliffside by the brutal winds, Charlie weathers the storm until it's safe to return to the sea. And finally, after 5 grueling months, Charlie arrives in Land's End, completing his circumnavigation of England and Wales with a renewed respect for the power of the elements.
Paddleboarding around England and Wales was extraordinary. The wind and tide did completely govern my journey. They were my God.
Earlier, we saw how part of Hawaii's Kilauea volcano collapsed, causing chaos across the island. With molten rock spewing from huge cracks in the ground, shooting hundreds of feet into the air.
Close as I want to get. Wow.
And magma engulfing homes and devastating communities. Watching the lava devour her neighbor's home is resident Lori Maximenko.
It was amazing. It was like a lava river right only 2 houses away from our house and happening right before our very eyes.
Gases escaping from underground continue to cause violent explosions.
I've never experienced anything that powerful or that uncontrollable.
Hours later, Larry and Jerry's home is also engulfed by the lava.
It was kind of devastating to watch it happen. See the power of nature coming through. It was almost a straight line going right through our house. So. You could see the lava coming through the carport and around the front of the house.
There was no use wondering whether we had a place to live later. It was gone. I just was in shock.
Hawaii-born Gabe Humphreys is busy helping others evacuate.
I'm gonna go help this woman. She might need my help. She's getting her stuff out of the house at the last minute. I noticed a woman dragging out household items over the lava flow. Do you need some help? Do you need some help? Yeah, it was a pretty emotional time. That was one of the most emotional times.
Today's the day it's gonna take.
Oh my goodness. I'll give you a hand. Just the heartbreak, you know, the uncertainty. This is a crazy place right here.
The Kilauea eruptions produced enough lava to fill 320,000 Olympic-sized swimming pools. Around 700 homes were destroyed, and nearly 2,000 people were forced to evacuate. Heath Dalton and his wife fled to safety, but their home was burnt to the ground.
I'd already knew I lost the house, but when I saw it, it was kind of a punch in the gut.
This is one of the first houses to go in this whole episode.
I just broke down. Where do we go from here? What do we do? How do we survive? We have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old looking at us going, what's going on? And, you know, we had to explain to them that the hot lava got our house. All their toys, their room, everything they had known about that house.
A few days later, Laurie and her husband also returned to their devastated neighborhood.
When we got there, we saw that the entire community had been taken by lava. So we knew at that point that our home was gone. There was a sense of sadness. Our neighborhood was gone. Our home was gone.
The continuous lava flow covered more than 13 square miles, completely altering the Hawaiian landscape forever.
It just covers the land and it just burns everything down and just levels it all brand new. And it takes 50 or 100 years to get anything close to what the jungle was like at one time. It gets covered in lava. So it's pretty sad to see that go.
The eruption was so extreme, it took nearly 3 months for the explosions to die down completely.
It felt like a dream, like a bad dream. The volcano became our lives for 3 months. Every day when I'd wake up, that was the first thing I thought about is what's going to happen today? Are we going to make it through this?
Tornadoes, they come and they go. Hurricane comes and it goes. This can go on for months to years, so it's the only natural disaster of its kind that just continues to go on.
This is just one of those natural wonders of the world.
I always knew nature was ruler. It does what it wants to do, and you can't really do much to argue about it.
It's like the hand of God coming down and taking control. It was out of our hands. We just had to let Mother Nature take her course.
Saipan in the Pacific Ocean is the largest of the Northern Mariana Islands and is known for its beautiful beaches and mountainous landscapes. But the downside of this tropical paradise is tropical storms, as resident Walter Goodridge knows all too well.
We're living here in paradise. You expect a certain storms every now and then. So it's not something that people worry about, every day of their lives. It's something that you keep an eye on and you follow the weather reports.
Some of the deadliest of the tropical storms are typhoons, massive cyclones that form in the Eastern Hemisphere. And in October 2018, a potent typhoon named Yutu forms over the northwestern Pacific and heads straight for Saipan.
We were aware that something was brewing in the area, so everyone was on alert.
Also preparing for the incoming onslaught are Janet Santos and her family.
The night of the storm, my husband and I sat there looking out, monitoring the wind, watching the palm trees go back and forth. The wind was getting stronger and stronger.
The intensity was gradually increasing. I started to feel the windows rattling. I have a glass door leading out to the balcony of my apartment, and that started to shudder and shake.
The frame for the sliding door is loose.
U2, rapidly gathering strength, is now at the most severe level, a Category 5 super typhoon, with impact imminent.
Just before the strength of the storm arrived, we felt it in the house, sort of like an earthquake. I felt the floor shook. Then everybody just went into panic mode.
U2 slams into Saipan with ferocious 180-mile-per-hour winds. The storm is tearing through Janet's family home and trapping Walt in his apartment.
There was water being blown in under the doors. So my apartment was started to flood. Something like a Category 5 typhoon is nothing to be played with. This is definitely something that can take someone's life. So it's something that can get really scary because you don't know when it will end and you don't know exactly where it's going to come from next.
Typhoons are an ever-present threat to the people of the Pacific. And when they strike, the safest place to be is behind closed doors. In Japan, Typhoon Jelawat is battering this parking lot with 125-mile-per-hour winds. And it's not long before the terrifying typhoon shows its true power. Angrily tossing a car as if it were a child's toy. Luckily, there was no one in the car on the receiving end of this typhoon's tantrum. Unlike in Taiwan, where this man drives headfirst into danger. As the 140-mile-per-hour winds of Typhoon Moronti give him a brutal reminder of why he should have stayed indoors. Also in Taiwan, residents are left horrified as Typhoon Meggy rips the scaffolding from a 24-story building. The man-made structure is no match for Meggy's 100-mile-per-hour winds and is sent plummeting to the ground below. Sadly, 3 people were injured amongst the chaos. Back in Saipan, Walt's apartment is under siege from the savage super typhoon U2.
As the storm got more intense, I realized that the sliding door of my apartment in the back room in the balcony, it was going to become unhinged. So I had to stand up and hold the glass.
As the typhoon continues to rip apart Janet's home, her family are desperately trying to take cover.
We took our mattress and put it over us. My daughter was behind me, cuddling with us. I don't think I ever experienced that terror in my life.
Across town, Walt uses his own mattress to help protect his glass door.
If I hadn't barricaded the door, then if it had blown out, then I would have been more exposed to the elements and something could have flown in from the outside, or the glass itself as it shattered, could have ripped me in half.
It was like a tornado in the room. I was really scared that the building was going to collapse.
I had to hold the screen door, pull it towards me to stop it from blowing out, and then other times I had to push it to stop it from blowing in. So for the next 5 hours, I stood in a pool of water in my bedroom, preventing my glass door from blowing out.
It felt like a very long time. We peeked out from behind the bed and started looking around to see the wind has decreased. That's when I started feeling the relief that it's gonna end and we're still alive. Thank God.
After fighting the fury of the 180-mile-per-hour winds all through the night, sunrise brings new hope.
By about 7 a.m., things sort of died down. By then, the sun had risen, so I could see the damage that was around in the neighborhood. There were trucks and buses flipped over. There was tin sheets in the trees.
Most areas were just wiped out. Every house we passed was ripped off. You find the foundation is all that's left. It was just very traumatic. And that's when I realized just the magnitude of Super Typhoon Yutu.
Super Typhoon Yutu was the strongest typhoon ever recorded to hit Saipan, causing millions of dollars in unexpected damage. Over 3,000 homes were destroyed, and tragically, at least 2 people lost their lives. The effect the Super Typhoon has had on Janet and her family is life-changing.
We love Saipan very much, but we're too scared to stay. I'm really scared that any typhoon is going to come around again.
This is something that can change people's lives. It's very traumatic and something that shouldn't be taken lightly.
There's no doubt that bad weather can cause chaos, catastrophe, and cataclysmic carnage. But sometimes it's just downright inconvenient. In London, England, heavy rain has swamped a high street. But one impatient driver refuses to wait and dives straight in. But he's left with a sinking feeling.
Why would you go for that? What are you doing?
Much to the delight of onlookers. He won't be getting out of that in a hurry. This woman is enjoying a trip to an indoor shopping mall in China's Guangdong province when the heavens open. Rain accumulating on the roof of the shopping center causes the ceiling to collapse, bringing with it a deluge of rainwater that washes the woman away. A fellow shopper rushes to her aid, and remarkably, she suffers only minor injuries. But the incident certainly put a dampener on her day out. And film festival fans might also be left feeling deflated. At this event in Colorado, in the US. After organizers laid on blow-up beds ahead of a nighttime movie screening, a storm starts to roll in, and strong winds lead to a massive mattress migration. The wayward inflatables are sent tumbling across the terrain in what becomes a pretty climactic scene. It's less Sleeping Beauty and more Gone with the Wind. In this episode, we've seen weather at its absolute worst. We've seen how Mother Nature rules the roost.
This is insane.
We've seen her tear down, rip up, and completely destroy. And next time, there will be more. Because deadly weather stops for no one.